Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, I'm back with another article discussing our old friend Kevin Warren. Recent offerings on this channel have been over on the hardwood, looking at what's happening in the NBA bubble, and also there have been a couple of deaths in the NBA family. But I'm back now to discuss some college football. When I started Big Discussions 76 Sports, I thought that I'd have a gravy train of Michigan football videos to shoot in terms of actual games, but then the coronavirus came to our shores and basically blew everything over. So now much of the stories and the news involves the decisions of our conferences and the commissioners, and debate about whether or not the student athletes should be allowed to play. So someone who's been very, very outspoken about this is Steve Deace. And if you haven't subscribed to Steve Deace at the Michigan Podcast, I would go over to that channel. He probably has the leading channel in terms of Michigan football content, and in this instance, Big Ten content. And if the games were being played, that channel would probably be leading the charge. But I'm subscribed to him. I watch his content. He's got really good stuff, and he's been really passionate about this decision to suspend college football in the Big Ten this 2020 season. And so it looks like he wrote an open letter to Kevin Warren. And that's what this article on Wolverine Digest is entitled. It reads, "An open letter to Kevin Warren. The data says let them play." And this was written by Steve Deace on August 30th. And before the letter starts, there's language that says, "Much has changed with coronavirus and testing since you canceled the fall season, Commissioner Warren. And it's all good news. Leadership isn't tested by always making the right decision, because no one is perfect, but in having the humility and courage to reverse course when it's obvious you made the wrong one." That's a powerful statement. Dear Commissioner Warren, first, let me say from the outset that even a veteran commissioner would have had difficulty navigating these unprecedented times. The leadership challenges those in your position currently face are unparalleled in collegiate athletics, as they are for leaders across the cultural landscape. Furthermore, I wish to take you and the university presidents who likely wield the true power here at your collective word that you originally canceled fall football in our league out of an abundance of caution. I think that's possible. I think it's possible, if not even likely, you don't completely agree with the decision, given the fact your own son is playing football as we speak in the SEC for Mississippi State. Nevertheless, a vital component of your job as commissioner is to represent the interests of the university presidents who call many of the shots in the Big Ten. However, much has changed in just the 3 weeks since you made the announcement. And if you have any desire to align with the reportedly unanimous voice of our conference athletic directors who want to play a fall season, not to mention the legions of players and their families sharing that desire publicly as we speak, now is the time to reverse course. To use your office as a platform to make the case to those university presidents to undo potentially one of the worst decisions in the history of college athletics. A decision that has only served to tarnish the league's branding, generate perpetual public embarrassment, and harm the Big Ten's relationship with its coaches, donors, alumni, players, and fans. Commissioner, much has changed with the virus since your cancellation, and it's all good news. None of which you cited, by the way, in your recent clarification. In fact, you didn't really cite any updated or stratified data in your open letter clarification, other than the global narrative of the virus in that moment. Except you're playing Big Ten football, not planetary football. So all that really matters is what is happening in your country, and more specifically, your own footprint. Commissioner, permit me to share some of that data with you now. According to the CDC, only 6% of deaths can be directly tied to having died from COVID as opposed to with COVID, meaning 94% of those who have sadly perished had other pre-existing comorbidities that could have led to their deaths. Given the age and prime health of college football players, this is a key data point. How many college football players have a pre-existing comorbidity? According to the CDC, confirmed hospitalizations for COVID nationwide are now at their lowest total since March 21st. Only 2.9% of the available hospital beds in the Big Ten footprint are being used for COVID patients. According to the CDC, only 1.9% of ER visits nationwide are for COVID-like symptoms, which means 98.1% of Americans are going to the ER for something other than the coronavirus. According to the latest active case numbers, only 0.26% of people living in the Big Ten footprint are an active, confirmed case of the coronavirus. According to the CDC, since March, only 1.5% of deaths for those aged 15 to 24 have been with COVID. According to the CDC, 15 to 24-year-olds represent 12.9% of the U.S. population, but just 0.2% of all COVID deaths. The NFL has nearly completed its training camps, and heading into roster cuts, currently has just one player on its COVID reserve list out of 2,560 total players. As you know, Commissioner, NFL teams have not been operating in a singular bubble like the NBA and NHL has either. NFL teams have also been conducting padded practices for weeks too. This means we have proof of concept in real time for our league to emulate. A leading cardiologist at the University of Michigan doesn't believe myocarditis is enough of a concern to justify canceling college football. A top genetic cardiologist at the prestigious Mayo Clinic has said the same. Furthermore, if you were seeing an alarming rate of early onset diagnoses from just the already permitted workouts, as some media reports suggested, then why has the league permitted those style of workouts to continue? There have been 3 major testing innovations brought to market since the Big Ten's cancellation as well. The University of Illinois, a member institution, received emergency FDA approval for a quicker and cheaper saliva-based test. The NBA Players Association, in conjunction with Yale University, has also received emergency approval from the FDA for a similar saliva-based test, which can cost as low as $4 per sample. And now Abbott Labs has been granted emergency approval from the FDA for a self-contained saliva-based test that it will sell for just $5. Each of these innovations makes testing substantially more accessible and affordable than it even was a few weeks ago when the conference called off the season. The numbers are about as low as we can realistically hope for in a country this large, and a footprint as densely populated as the Big Ten's, minus an effective vaccine. The testing is more available and more affordable than ever before, too. Commissioner, I implore you to follow the data because it will align you with the overwhelming wishes of your players and programs who simply want the same choice to play your family was granted by the SEC. Leadership isn't tested by the way, leadership isn't tested by always making the right decision because no one is perfect, but in having the humility and courage to reverse course when it's obvious you made the wrong one. I'm going to leave this article in the description box below. There are a lot of comments underneath Steve's article. I'm not going to read all of those comments. In general, I agree with Steve. Commissioner Warren and the presidents should be actively re-evaluating their decision. And if they re-evaluate everything and come back to the same conclusion, I think, we would still like to see our teams play. But I think that if they've stopped looking at things where they were 3 weeks ago, I think that's bad. And I think they're doing everyone a disservice. But I think they should, as Steve has done, look at the numbers in an objective way, and also look at the testing protocols in the NFL and the NBA and the NHL. And, don't be afraid to reevaluate. They shouldn't be afraid to reevaluate their decisions, as Steve said. True leadership is being able to revise and revisit and revise your positions. So I'm going to stop this here. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think below. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.